Welcome to another edition of the HP Helion podcast. This is Steven Spector, and with me today is Ben DeBont, who is our Chief Security Officer for Cloud. And Ben, thanks for joining us, and I'm excited to talk about security since it's probably the first question anyone asks with cloud, and you must be used to it. And one of the things we wanted to talk about is hybrid cloud security. We don't hear a lot about that, and many customers are looking for hybrid solutions. So can you give us some insight into what happens when we deploy a hybrid cloud or look at that situation? What's the security implications?
Sure thing, Stephen. I'd love to discuss that. So security really is, as you pointed out, a critical concern in a hybrid cloud environment. And it's not just for providers themselves, but also, of course, for consumers. Now, with the increasingly more complex environments that you often see in a hybrid cloud offering comes more complex cyber attacks, such as those that are continuously reported in the news. So it's also important to realize that the attacks that you hear about in the press are but a small fraction of the hacking attacks that occur every single day. So really what the security implication is that cloud providers and consumers must work together to create a secure and hardened environment for cloud computing, both now and in the future, that promotes consistent security policies, governance, and data protection.
So this is kind of a two-part question is, what is HP Helion doing? With the Sony attack or Heartbleed last year, I think people are a bit like, oh my goodness, maybe spooked might be the right word. So, what directly are we as a cloud organization doing to protect our customers looking to go in a hybrid environment?
There's no single solution to building an effective hybrid cloud security program. You have to take a number of different security strategies or activities and combine them together. And that's very much what we do here at HP and Helion. So one of the first things that we do, and this is very much an industry standard, is your simple security best practices and governance actions. And so this includes those best practices that are set by external entities such as NIST, SANS, and in our world, very much the Cloud Security Alliance. Examples for this are just your typical security features and requirements that you'll see in any type of IT environment that include centralized logging, access control, encryption technologies, and virtualization security. In addition to this, it's very important that you have a governance and compliance program in a hybrid cloud offering. What we have at HP Helion is a continual compliance program that follows a very succinct matrix of compliance controls that applies against all the certifications and attestations that exist today. These could include ISO 27K, FedRAMP, FISMA, PCI, HIPAA. The list is endless. And depending on the type of environment that we have within our hybrid cloud offering often governs what security controls are most pertinent depending on the risk of that environment. In addition to these pieces, one of the most important activities that we conduct at HP Helion is the security review process. This means that every single feature or product that we have or service undergoes this rigorous security review process that includes both threat analysis, which is architectural review, source code analysis, both dynamic and static, and also penetration testing. And the penetration testing piece is one of the most important because that is where we attack our HP Helion hybrid cloud offerings as would an attacker out in the wild. And we're continuously doing this to try to find new vulnerabilities or ways in which we can compromise our own features and thus fix them so that our customers can be assured that they're safe. Finally, the piece that you mentioned before about Heartbleed and some of the other attacks that occur, this has resulted in us having a very comprehensive incident response program. And so our Helion security teams are structured to immediately respond and contain to various attacks that occur with Heartbleed or shell shock or bash. We also belong to a large number of pre-disclosure lists, groups and security operations and organizations to help in identifying major incidents before they occur or before that they're known to the wider public. This gives us a little bit of an edge and a chance to work out how we're going to remediate and react to major vulnerabilities before they occur. The next piece that we have under our security strategy or under our security umbrella in addition to best practices is also our expansive and rich suite of security products that we offer within HP. And this includes products that I'm sure you've heard of before, such as Tipping Point, which offers intrusion prevention, ArcSight, which is security event monitoring, Fortify, which is source code analysis, which we already discussed, and an amazing new encryption technologies coming out of our Tala group. So what we do within HP is we take the advantage of these products to not only add them to our hybrid cloud offerings, but also to take new research and new features for these that are not yet available to our customers and utilize them in turn to help ensure that we have a hardened environment that uses some of the world's greatest security products to help us identify new threat vectors and attacks. The last piece we have is that our hybrid cloud offering is based upon OpenStack architecture. Now, OpenStack, as you know, is open source. We have invested and gone to significant lengths to ensure that OpenStack security is ever evolving and increasing. And the way we've done this is by a number of initiatives. The first of all is that we co-founded the OpenStack Security Group. Now, this group does a large number of activities, such as upstream security reviews on key OpenStack features like Keystone, our identity management service. We co-founded the OpenStack Vulnerability Management Team, which practices responsible disclosure for OpenStack-specific vulnerabilities. And we co-authored and maintain the OpenStack Security Guide. The beauty of this security document in the OpenStack Security Guide is that any of our customers can download this living and breathing document and see exactly how any OpenStack implementation should be secured. The other important piece to note is that many security documentation or guides are swiftly outdated, as security is such a dynamic field. But the OpenStack Security Guide is continuously being contributed to, not just by HP, but by OpenStack consumers all over the world, and is constantly updated to help combat and provide guidance for preventing the most recent security attacks and vulnerabilities. All of these things together help build our security strategy, and it's just but a subset of the sort of functions that we have to do. But the important piece to note is that security is an ever-evolving field, and we have to constantly look at all of these areas to help provide a hardened cloud that our customers can be confident in.
So a final question for you is, when it comes to our customers, my assumption would be that yourself or members of your team sit down with some of our customers and go through, helping them with the security and meeting with them and, being part of, I don't want to say part of their team, but it's almost an extension of their solution for security. How involved do we get with our customers to assist them?
So, Stephen, what you've just described there, and it's a very good point that I'm glad you brought up, is one of the guiding principles for our security program, which is that of transparency. And we are absolutely dedicated to providing complete transparency into any security control, function, feature, into any vulnerability or any sort of security concern that our customers may have. Many of our competitors don't do this, but we at HP Helion believe that this is the only way that we can promote and provide real customer confidence. So if there's any questions at all that our customers have, our security team will sit down with them, whether it's an architectural design, whether it's a deep dive into a newer vulnerability, or whether it's step-by-step how we prevented or responded to a industry-known attack such as Heartbleed or Shell Shock. So once again, transparency, that is our guiding principle, and that really builds upon our entire security program that I just described, because without it, how can our customers know that we're doing a good job, and how do they know that we have such a hardened and secure cloud?
Well, thanks for talking to us today about security. I think that's a great overview of all that we do. I think security really is a complicated thing, and one of the strengths of HP Helion clearly is you and your team, and it's always good to have our customers have some insight to what's going on behind the scenes. So thanks for joining with us today.
Thank you, Stephen. A pleasure.